eat like slaves anymore because we're not slaves.
If you cannot control what you eat, then you cannot control what you feel.
Eat your largest meals in the middle of the day, not the end of the day.
What part the homeostasis plays, you're on your way to healing yourself. The homeostasis is the internal environment where your body is at its ultimate functionality for healing. Just keep in mind that everything that is happening to you is happening for you.
Hello, and grand rising to everyone. I am Carolyn Gentle, and you are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. And today's topic is secret powers of herbs. That should be, or that one's going to be great. So thank you all so much for joining us here today. If you have not already, please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Dr. Farid Zarif. We are streaming live right now on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. So thank you so much for joining us here today. Dr. Zarif, can you please join me here up on stage so we can get the party started?
All right, well, the party started with you. All right. It's great to be here. Thank you so much, everybody. We're really excited about this sharing. This is going to be really nice. So share. This is going to be great. We're going to talk about some of the things that you've been asking me, via the emails and phone calls and the Q&As about herbs. And there's so much to learn about herbs. It's not like a one-time thing and then you're an expert. It takes years of study. So these people that have become herbalists or herbologists or nutritionalists, all the different names for it, it comes down to understanding how well the whole or part of the plant works with our society, the society that we live in, especially with all of the medications out. And people like, no, I don't take medications. And you have other people that say, I don't mess around with herbs or whatever that is. We're going to see if we can get some kind of balance with that, okay? Before we go in this care, guess what? We got to stop just for a moment here to say, just a little respect for the honorable Democrat representative, and that's Sheila Jackson Lee, who died yesterday, 74 years. Well, not yesterday, but it was reported earlier, and most of it hit the screen yesterday. We want to give her a big, loving embrace for her and her family, and may she, of the things that she did, really reach out to us and help us to be better people. The cause of her death was not immediately disclosed last month. This is happened last month. We're just getting it, as I said. However, Jackson Lee revealed that she had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. For those of us that don't know what pancreatic cancer often doesn't cause any symptoms. It's one of those things that is just asymptomatic. A lot of people feel like, if I don't feel it, it's not there. This is why we continually say prevention. An ounce of prevention is equal to a pound of cure. This is super important, that if you don't feel it, it doesn't mean that there isn't anything there. It just means that you're not detecting what's there. So please get yourself an examination. Super important.
Very important. Thank you for that report, Dr. Zarif.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I wanted to also give you an idea of the some of the things that the symptoms include is pain, jaundice, the yellow jaundice. You might hear that, but just jaundice by itself is it's not only yellowing of the eyes, but it also can be of the skin. which can cause also darker urine and lighter stools. So you see your equilibrium is way out there, digestive issues, and then there's other unexplained weight loss, so forth. So we want you to understand that that's what pancreatic cancer can be very, very obvious with some individuals, and pancreatic cancer can also be one of those situations where there is no clue that you have it at all. Okay, we're going to go over here and talking about the herbs today. What's your favorite herb, Kara?
It's probably going to be ginger. Because I use it often, and it really helps, like with settling your stomach and just things like that. So yeah, and I use it to cook with. So, and my favorite would probably be ginger. I never thought about what my favorite herb would be, but since you brought that up,
yeah,
I do think ginger.
Beautiful. Well,
about yours?
I want to cut back. I wanted to go over this. I don't want to miss out on the opportunity to give the listeners the opportunity to see or to hear the difference between prevention versus just impulsivity. When you get do things that you're being proactive, you can go right into set up an appointment. First of all, many appointments going to take you a long time, so it's good to move on it right away. A lot of people still don't hear this. Many more people will die. They just don't. They don't care. They're stuck. We're not even talking about those people. I'm talking about the ones people that want to live, and people that want to live healthier, people that want to play with their grandchildren and they want to spend time with their children. People that want to be amazed by every little opportunity to feel joyous and to be thankful for what we have. Those are the people I'm speaking to. So there is a difference in that, like the life expectancy of Black women in 2021 was 74.8 years. That's the general consensus for Black women. However, the life expectancy, it can vary by state. For instance, the Black women in Rhode Island having an average life expectancy of 87 years. 87 years, while Black women in Washington, D.C. have an average life expectancy of 76 years. You see? So that's just a big difference. That's 9 years difference. Don't tell me that doesn't mean anything. You see, you still have to take care of yourself even when you get older. And don't buy or accept anybody's explanation of you. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear people start off early. Are you old? Are you down? People like that are disrespectful about the stage of life that you're in, and the stupid remarks that they make. They're very disingenuous and disrespectful. So make sure that you choose your friends, because they can make up your environment, and your environment is a huge part of the way that you see life. Okay, so I wanted to bring that up. Now, as far as my favorite herb goes, wow, that's a really rough one, because I'm not fanatical, but herbs play a huge part of my life. I use herbs daily on so many things, and we're going to talk about some of those things. But before we go there, we're going to Kara so that she can give some shout outs to those people, or however you're going to do it, 2, 3, all of them. But we just want to say hello to a few people. Kara?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Good morning to Shirley. Hey, Shirley, thank you so much for joining us here today. Really appreciate it. Denise Kane says hello and good morning. Hello, and good morning to you as well, Denise. Thank you all so much for joining us here. As Dr. Zarif mentioned, we are here, or maybe you didn't mention it, but I'll mention it. We are here every morning, 8 a.m. PST. And today's topic, we are talking about secret powers of herbs. So I know this is going to be great information. Go ahead and take notes on the information that you hear here, because I already know that it's going to be great information. So, Dr. Zarif, go ahead and do your thing.
All right, thank you, Kara. We're talking about the secret powers of herbs, and the reason that I chose secret as an adjective, because that's how we usually treat the knowledge that we have about herbs. Let me go over here just for a second. And okay, good. I'm going to, one of the things that I want to go over, and let's go ahead and enlarge that. Okay. So what heals also prevents, and that's exactly what the herbs do. They help us to heal. We're constantly healing, and the reason that we are is not because we're sick, is because that's just the way that the body works. It's just constantly seeking out different types of fungi, or different types of bacteria, or there can be other toxins. The body is always busy because it's working on the balance, and keeping up the balance is something that is important for all of us. I almost want to say, hey, I got it. I really want people to get this, because I always can tell I didn't even know I was that sensitive about, people listening to what I had to say, because I was like, I'll say what I have to say and I've done my part. But this is just one of those things that you feel like people got to hear this, but I'm just going to push that to the side and not be distracted. Let's go into some of the secrets. So some of the modern prescription drugs are based on plant extracts rather than whole plants. So in other words, parts of the plants, and extracting different, like the oil of the plant. It might be you might get something different from the root versus a stem. So we'll slowly get into that. This is going to be like a crude explanation for herbs, because it's so vast. However, I think that you'll be able to extrapolate a lot from it. The phytochemicals may be synthesized, compounded, or otherwise transformed to make pharmaceuticals. For example, there are some derivatives that include aspirin, which is chemically related to salicylic acid. The salicylic acid is found in the herb, and is called white willow. And so white willow, I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to break that down, but before aspirin, white willow was the plant that the people of that particular tribe, or that particular town, would use in order to address some of the things that we use aspirin for today. The raw herbs versus the cooked herbs. This is so important, because when you cook herbs, or some of the herbs, this isn't in all cases, but in many of the herbs that are cooked, used as spices, and this is why that it's more important to not to cook the herb, or take the herbs while you're cooking and you add. Remember, herbs should go in after, and I'm speaking of dried herbs, because they are raw herbs also. But you can take these raw herbs and you don't cook those. There's some raw herbs that you will add, like fennel, for instance. Another one that you would just chop up might be something like the tops of carrots, for instance, dandelion, and so forth. There's a lot of other, and then there's also teas. Teas are like the dried herbs, right? So, but when it comes down to cooking some of the raw herbs, what happens is we lose that whole B group, and that's the vitamin B1, 2, 3, vitamin 5, 6, 9, folate. Remember, we talked about the parabeno acid, pantothenic acid, and all of those are some of the herbs that are very important for breaking down food, assisting in digestion, and is very important also for our neurological systems. So the B vitamins are super, super important. And a lot of these B vitamins too are found in dairy products. Now, I know some people don't want to hear it, but there you go. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to probably abbreviate a lot of what I could say because there's so much to say about these things. But let's go back to the boiling thing or the cooking with it. Now, does the boiling herbs release the toxins? Boil herbal teas for at least 5 minutes. This will neutralize the bacteria, the yeast, and the molds. Now, that's one of the things people in general usually just think that, it's an herb, it's dry, I have it in a capsule, I take it and that's it. And we negate the part where these manufacturing companies have huge barrels of these particular supplements and these types of foods. And a lot of times, if we don't take the precautions ourselves, then we're taking a great risk that these toxic substances can be very deleterious unless you boil them. So the boiling of the water and also the tea bag or the bulk tea, sometimes that will definitely be affected by some of the pathogens that may be associated with a tea that's in the bag or the bulk tea. Herbs are the herbs that are high in vitamin C include raspberry leaf, red clover, rose hips, hops, elderberry, and hawthorn. What do you see in all of those? For those of you that study herbs, you'll see that these are all very, very important when it comes to what's the so-called cold seasons. So this is very good for coughs. All of these are excellent for coughs and for people that will get laryngitis. The elderberry, you've probably heard of that. That's very important, making a serum or some type of syrup that you can take in or ingest when you have those fights with a cold and coughing or expectoration, like, expectorate also can mean coughing. So it can make expectorants with that. And those expectorants are just as good, if not better, than some of the commercial stuff that we just go buy off a shelf. You can make it your own. I'll be doing a special on how to make your own cough medicines and other medicines that are great for some of the basic stuff that we face on a daily basis. The black currants have extremely high concentrations of vitamin C. Now, vitamin C is super important. It's usually just, what vitamin C? Vitamin C is one of the best antioxidants. It actually helps your aging process to slow down. And that's very important for some of us, most of us. Some people, I don't know, some people just don't care. But those, again, I'm talking to the people that do care. So the vitamin C, you don't want to prolonged don't want to boil them in like over 5 minutes. And I'm talking about the herbs, because then you start to, instead of having the nutrient in the plant, what happens is you start to compromise that vitamin C. The water-soluble B vitamins are also lost when boiled, or rather, they leach into the water, which can be saved to make sauces and soups. So what I mean by that, there's the water that you have from the vegetable juice that you're making, or slicing up the onions, and all of the water comes out, where you make what my family calls pot liquor. And that's because my mother is from the South. Well, her mother is from the South. So good old Chattanooga, Tennessee. A shout out to my cousin Joyce. And this is still today. This isn't something that's superannuated. It is current today. So be sure that when you're, before you throw away that good juice after all that, preparation, steaming, boiling, and you have the juice in the soup or the stew or the casserole, whatever you're making, remember that you can also ingest some of the minerals and the micronutrients like vitamin A, D, E, and K, the fat solubles, really important. Okay, so let's move on to vitamin E. Now, you hardly ever hear from vitamin E anymore, because people don't use it like they used to use it. Like the aphrodisiacs, for instance, now may come in Dan Quai for women, and then you'll have ginseng or Korean, Siberian, American. There's different types, but usually those are used for your sex drive. But that's not the only thing. Some people will just use that just for a sex drive, and that would be more like a yohimbe. Yohimbe is used for a sex drive, and there's some other ones, horny goat weed, and a few more. Anyway, keep in your mind on what other things that they do, because remember, most of the herbs that you're going to use, they're broad spectrum, which means that it's not just one thing that they do. They're broad, they have a broad spectrum because they can adhere to or address many situations. Most minerals in our diets are not affected by heat, and the majority are in the form of water-soluble salts, which makes them ideal for herbal teas. Now, lycopene, I talk about lycopene. I talk about lycopene a lot because it's so very, very important for females because of what it does for heart health. And lycopene is very important for males because of prostate health. Now, lycopene is a potent antioxidant, and is actually amplified by the heat. So some people are going to say to you, guess what? I don't cook in my food. I just go all raw. That is just a behavior that humans have. We have this extreme behavior. We don't have enough, or we have too much. But to get in the center, this is very important. You're still going to have people that want to overdo it. If it works a little, they want to take a lot. You see, if it's doing exactly what they want to do, and they took 2 of something, guess what? They think more is better. But the fact is, more isn't better in most cases, because what you'll do is you'll overdo it. And not just like some of the harsher results of taking something like fentanyl or heroin, but overdoing it with, for instance, lycopene, or overdoing it with Cinepod, or, where you end up with diarrhea or severe diarrhea. It can be very, very, can mess your day up. So let's do things in balance. So I was talking about how the amplification of heat, the heat amplifies the minerals, the nutrients, especially in tomatoes. Now, when you eat a raw tomato, sure, you're going to get the vitamins and minerals from it. But the lycopene, when you cook that down and you have like a tomato paste, then what you have is more lycopene, because the lycopene content is higher, and it's easier for the body to absorb the lycopene once the tomato is cooked. Lycopene also is found in parsley. Now, this is shocking, because most people think that lycopene is just red or magenta, that color that you'll see in melons, that color that you may see in peaches, like Freestone peaches. And there's other fruit and vegetables that you may look for lycopene in, but parsley is you find lycopene in parsley, which is green, and you probably wouldn't think of that if we weren't talking about, guess what? Yeah, you can get lycopene from green plants also basil and rose hips. Now, rose hips tea is very very important, especially like when lycopene is important for your heart health, females, and for your prostate, males. And this is important. Another way to get it into your body, by just sipping it through the day, or having a nice something that you can put your tea in, keep it nice and warm throughout the day. Lycopene is also fat soluble. Consuming it with fat increases the bioavailability. So if you're eating something, for instance, what is a food that has oil in it? Okay, so let's say you're eating a vegetable soup, and you took a little extra virgin olive oil as it's cooling off, and you're mixing that in a little bit, or it can be other different oils, not even cooking, for instance, almond oil or walnut oil, or all these cold press oils that people take just a little bit periodically to make sure that they're getting enough essential fatty acids. Well, yeah, all of this is super important because it does make a big difference in the way that you experience life. So by consuming these fats, these oils, the bioavailability increases when you're taking, for instance, like chili or spaghetti and meatballs, vegan style. All of those, when you eat that, you're getting your tomato paste, which is a lot of lycopene. If you're chopping up parsley in it, which I chop up parsley and other delicious, your celery, and you have your onions and green peppers, that trilogy is very, very important. So it's super important that you use these dishes that if you're eating other things like, or you making your own tomato sauce, you'll find that you can increase lycopene also. The main polyphenols, especially the phenolic acids and flavonoids of medicinal herbs, are lost in the water. Now, a lot of people would say, I just thought you said that you increase the nutrient uptake, but These are just some. It's really, nature is really fragile like that. The heat can also influence the polyphenol content, but sometimes for the better. Um, I wanted to also, the overall message is that some of the herbs will lose or they'll gain polyphenol activity. Those in the Lamiaceae family, the Lamiaceae family are the family of those raw things that I just mentioned, along with some other things like Goda cola is one, the leaves on passion fruit is another, and so on. So that's how herbs, the leaves can be just as important as the root, and sometimes the stems. Yeah, for instance, like a licorice root, for instance. You can, if you have a licorice plant, some people do chop it up, or and they'll take little parts of it and they'll chew it, and they like the taste, and it's super good for your voice, your vocal cords, and the conservation of your oral structure. Um, the herbs and the spices have a broad spectrum benefits, and we went over that a little earlier. And just to remind you that these are the properties that can be used in biological applications like cancer therapy, cardiovascular disease and treatment, neural disease treatment, that's the treatment on your nerves, and skin regeneration. And this is super important because people are really spending thousands of dollars wanting to find some secret to keeping their skin nice, tight, supple, and you want it to glisten at sometimes, but that's your skin. That's the largest external organ, and it's super important for you to take care of that, because when it comes to taking care of your skin then can, the new skin or regeneration of new skin, or keeping your face nice and, again, supple skin. You want it tight, though. You don't want it bagging. And what does that come from? Exercise. That's movement. That is also the foods that you're eating. Now, you got a lot of people get older and they don't move at all. And then they develop a disease called sarcopenia. And sarcopenia is the disease that people get when they stop moving, because somebody has told them that they're too old to do that. You can't do that anymore. You're too old. Don't do those things. Here, let's drink this and look at TV. Get up, get involved, get some other people around you too, or get that person to change their tune, so that you will start looking at life a little differently, and your definition will change to support everything that you're living for. We're going to take a break now and bring Care up, and we'll be back in a few seconds.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. And thank you to everyone that's joining us here in the Mind of Nature. Today's topic is secret powers of herbs. Now, I asked the question in the chat here on YouTube. I'm not sure if Facebook can see it too, but what is your favorite herb? Mine, I put in there, is ginger. I like ginger. What is your favorite herb? Let me know in the comments. Also, we are streaming live on Facebook. We're on YouTube. And we are on Instagram. We're actually on the Dr. Farid Zarif Instagram, not the I am. Either way it goes, we are still streaming on Instagram. So thank you all so much for joining us. If you have not already, please give the stream a thumbs up. Let me see over here on YouTube. If we can get like 2 more thumbs up, that would be great. I don't see Facebook giving us any love, and I'm a little hurt by that. So if you can please give us a thumbs up over on Facebook, let us know you're there, even if you're not in the comments. Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much. I see that, Michelle. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We have Ron OJ, And he's saying, good morning, Sensei, DJ Ron OJ. All right, from Detroit. Thank you so much for joining us. And Michelle Bell says, hey fam, hello to you. Thank you so much. And let me see here, as far as herbs, Shirley is saying that she loves rosemary. I love it. Thank you so much, Shirley, for your feedback on your favorite herbs. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Dr. Farid Zarif, and he's bringing us this great information today. Dr. Zarif, go ahead and join me back on stage.
All right. All right, here we go, everybody. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for taking time out this morning. We're going to go ahead and keep going because every moment counts. Before I go back into the actual session where we're the education of it all, remember the bottom line for what I'm doing is to elevate, and it is to update, and it's to educate, and that's what's really important here. We're not, I used to feel like we were here to, recruit people to eat a certain way. But as you get older and wiser, you find out that, it's up to you what you're going to choose to put in your body. And once you get this down, I think you're going to love the idea of buying at least 3 or 4 of herbs that you really care about, just like Shirley shared with us rosemary. And rosemary is just a really wonderful. And by the way, rosemary has a great supply of vitamin C. So again, it's a wonderful antioxidant. And that's the way I would like for us to, when we're thinking about things, different things that we're going to eat, what are they doing for us? What's the benefit of these particular foods? Okay. I'm so cool this morning. I like the way I feel, and I'm so mellow. Maybe it's in the water. Okay. A variety of ways that you can use some of the broad spectrum. Remember, broad spectrum, we have broad spectrum medications, but broad spectrum in both cases mean that it is a multi and very versatile medication or pharmaceutical or herb in this case. Okay. Now, some of these are some of the powers of herbs. And first we start off with their antimicrobial. Now, antimicrobial is a term that describes substances that either kill or that stop the growth of microorganisms such as bacteria, mold, or fungi. Antimicrobials can also be used to treat and prevent infections in humans, animals, and plants. Isn't that incredible? They are often grouped into categories based on the type of microorganism they target, such as the antibiotics for bacteria. So like one of the greatest antibiotics that I can think of right off would be garlic. So those of you that eat when you prepare your food, adding garlic to that, you're doing yourself a great favor, because it is an antibiotic, which means it fights against infection. Also, the antifungals, and that the antifungals are for the fungi. I'm going to go in a little bit of that in a minute. But antifungal, this again is one of those antimicrobial benefits. Another is the antivirals for viruses. Now, we do have a lot of time. I don't think that we've seen it yet, but eventually there are going to be, because we're constantly taking a risk of animals catching different diseases and passing that along to humans. Did you know, for instance, that 1 out of every 1,000 people have mad cow's disease? 1 out of every 1,000 persons, one of those persons has mad cow disease. And this is something that's worth mentioning, because We are living in a society that requires tens of millions of animals that are being used to feed our appetite here in America. This is just here in America. Now, in other states, they have all types of foods and things that we're just discovering. And some people even use the different different horns, or they'll have different bones of this, or it's like some people even feel that they have special powers from eating what are called mountain oysters, which are just a nice way to say cow testes. We move on here. Next, now we just went over antimicrobial. Microbial. Next, what we want to do is talk about antioxidants. Now, I've been going in this kind of in and out so that you'll get a great idea. But I'm going to go over this again so that you'll keep this in your memory. The antioxidants are compounds that protect our cells from damage caused by free radicals. Free radicals are unstable molecules that can cause oxidative stress in the body, leading to various health issues, including chronic diseases like cancer, heart disease, neurodegenerative disorders. And neurodegenerative disorders can happen, like let's take it can happen in different places, but let's take the back, for instance. When a person has scoliosis, lordosis, or they might even have kyphosis. And this is kyphosis is that humpback look, and scoliosis is when the spine is not straight up and down. And then you also have lordosis, that's the swaying of the back. Like with some people, they'll let the back just relax in that position for long amounts of time. And then when to relax it, like if they're driving and they sit back, they find themselves sitting in a hunch, not because they want to have bad posture, but because they've been swaying, standing or working with a sway back for hours. And this happens days, weeks, months, years. And that person, as they get older, it becomes more and more obvious. When it comes to antioxidants, several vitamins, minerals, and compounds stand out for their protective properties. Now, these include vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E. Remember ACE. So the antioxidants, vitamin A, and remember vitamin A, you can get that out of alpha carotene and beta carotene. Those are some of the fruits and vegetables that have these particular polyphenols, and polyphenols, again, plant nutrients. Is very useful for our body. But remember C, we talked about C, and we talked about E. These are super important, and they also work well with selenium and zinc. Read up more about that. And these selenium and zinc are probably just as strange as lycopene and lutein, but these are some of the things to start getting in your body. Right now, if you feel that you have a shortage of vitamins and minerals, one of the things that you can do is that you can get a really good multivitamin and mineral, and take those vitamins and minerals, I would say every 3 to 4 days. And you do that for about a good 30 days. And you recharge your body and help that immune system fight against those things that it detects, the things that it kills, the things that it seeks out, and the things that it commits to its memory. So the immuno memory, meaning that your body, once it detects that same pathogen, that it can move quickly. It doesn't have to go through a process of figuring it out. And sometimes the body, some things aren't recognized by our body. The highest of the antioxidants in foods, the cloves. Cloves are very good, whether you ground them. I use cloves when I'm making my sweet potato pie, or when I make the pumpkin pie, or I want to get that kind of spicy. And this is usually go through this mood about once a year, because once it starts getting a little fall time, this is when I use that. So I'll have a real nice spicy pie. Okay, allspice is the same. Allspice is really great. Cinnamon is really great. So yeah, you have all these different types of antioxidants. And remember, these help to prevent you from having oxidative stress, damaged cells. That's what oxidative stress is, damaged cells. And you don't want to be looking like you're 10 years older than what you are. And by taking more of your vitamin C, vitamin A, C, and E, those are the vitamins that will help you protect yourself against cell damage. Other herbs would be peppermint, cinnamon, oregano, thyme, sage, and rosemary. See, all of those are super great. And we talked about rosemary earlier because it's just a wonderful way to get the antioxidants in it. Okay. Recharge. Okay, so let's go ahead. Fungi. I said I was going to talk about this, but I wrote it down so that it would be more profound. Fungus, any of about 144,000 known species of organisms of the kingdom fungi, which includes the yeast, rust, smuts, mildews, molds, and mushrooms. All of these things are considered fungi. Okay. There are also many fungus-like organisms, such as slime molds and oomycetes. This is usually the water molds that are plentiful, and sometimes we can't even see them. And sometimes water goes through pipes, or it can go through, it can be stored in something that belongs in that kingdom fungi. And it's just simply called fungi. Many of these fungus-like organisms are included also in the chromasta, kingdom chromasta. The fungi are among most widely distributed organisms on the earth, and are of great environmental and medical importance. Many fungi are free living in soil or water, and others form parasitic and symbiotic relationships with plants and animals. So mold is everywhere. It can be in food, like you can see mold. Remember when, I don't know if you're still doing this, but like I still eat, I'll eat bread that is high in whole grains. But let's say you leave that in your, it's a long time before it's 2 weeks goes by, and you see mold on the bread. Well, that mold is, sometimes the mold is in one of these in a healthy category, and then you have other organisms that aren't so healthy. Now, when it comes to let me just move this. Well, I'll get back to that later. Here are some more. I'll go through this really fast. Let's start off with other herbs like the German chamomile. German chamomile is used in teas and salves and vapors. This is a plant that has anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, bacterial, anti-allergenic, and sedative properties. It may also help with relaxation, sleep, anxiety, and depression. Again, relaxation chamomile. This is German chamomile, and this is the there's different types of chamomile, but usually the plants in this category have similar or the same benefits. Next is echinacea. Now, echinacea, look at that. These almost look like they're just different colors, but in the same family. This is an herb that has been used in traditional herbal medicine for centuries and is now one of the most widely used herbal remedies in the world. Studies suggest that the phenolic compounds in echinacea support the immune system. So keep that in mind. A lot of people used to just use echinacea for these different type of acne. It's called acne vulgaris. And they would apply echinacea along with golden seal. And now today, golden seal and echinacea along with myrrh and some other wonderful herbs. They make up decoctions to fight against colds, fever, so forth. Ginkgo biloba is next. And this species of ginkgo contains bioactive compounds such as quercetin. Where did you hear quercetin from? Apples, right? The redness in the apple, and quercetin also the redness in grapes. Also flavonoid, glycosides, and flavanol. All of these are the different bioactive compounds when we eat different plants. And this is ginkgo biloba is also used widely in pharmaceuticals. Now, ginkgo biloba, for those of you that's ever used it, I love to study, and this is one that will keep you up without making you just like edgy and like I can't go to sleep, I can't be still. It's not that kind of thing. But if you want to give it a go, take like maybe a half a capsule and pinch it into a tea form, sip it, and see what kind of reaction you have. As a matter of fact, I suggest anybody that wants to use the your herbs, make sure that you do everything little by little. Don't just listen to what I'm saying and just say, oh, I'm going to get a lot of that. But that's how I feel sometimes too. Sometimes they work so well. You're like, God, that's just, oh, I'm so glad I have this. And the beautiful thing is that it's produced by the earth. So nature continues to produce it. Quinoa. And now quinoa, the saponins. Now the saponin is usually that substance that makes things nice and soft, and even saponins that are used in soaps, for instance. Now the saponins in quinoa seeds are anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, antioxidant, antifungal, antibacterial. Now you see why people eat quinoa. Hemolytic, the hemolytic properties. So of course, properties that will be very effective for the use in keeping your blood balanced, the balancing of the blood pressure, and also well known for reducing the or bringing down the amount of blood sugar or sugar in your blood. And that's one of the biggest problems that we have when we talk about type 2 diabetes. And we talked about it earlier today, Congresswoman Lee dying from pancreatic cancer. So it's a real thing. And we need to pay attention to that. There's another plant called English woo, or some people call it English yew. And this is a plant that's used to synthesize some of the paclitaxel. And that's a word that you don't hear every day, the paclitaxel, or you'll hear Taxol is a drug that slows the growth of cancer. And this is really important, especially those people that may have people in their family with multiple myeloma and carcinoma. These are things that you should be aware of, and you should have a part of your group as far as those things that help you to maintain your health. This is so good. This is so good. This is so good. If you, when you finish this, please share or invite other people to come look at these things, because this is something they're not going to hear anywhere else. Madagascar periwinkle. So Madagascar periwinkle is a plant used by major pharmaceutical labs to produce medicines for oncology. So those things that are dealing with, again, you want to avoid cancer, this is a very, very fantastic one to know. Foxglove. Now, you probably heard of foxglove, and it's a beautiful plant, by the way. But the drug digitalis is extracted from the foxglove flower, and it has been used. This is something that's been around for a very long time, and they use it, or doctors use it, or back in that time, even it was used for heart ailments, to treat heart ailments. And that's just like sometimes when you're getting a fast beating heart, or like a bradycardia, which would be a slow beating, and some kind of rhythmic interference or problems with the heart. The foxglove is one of those broad spectrums that has been used for years. Check with your doctor before doing any of this, because a lot of times it's very easy to overdo it, especially when you're getting excited. May apple. Now, May apple is not such a, it looks like an abandoned grapevine or something. And the roots of May apple, also known as mandrake, you know, mandrake, the animal mandrake, okay, yield the drug podophyllum or podophyllum. And this has been an emetic, and it's cathartic. Now, when I say something that's been cathartic, usually that's when, you know, like you just kind of release all of your emotions until you're exhausted. That's one way of using it in conversation. But cathartic also means to get rid of, or it means to purge, or cleansing purge, physically cleansing purge, which is very, very important. And that's when, you know, there's a magnesium sulfate, for instance, that people use, is also called Epsom salt. And it's also a cathartic. And that was when people want to clean themselves out. But they may be cleaning out also, if you're using that, you may be cleaning out what is called good bacteria. And that will leave you vulnerable for other pathogens to set in, causing you to be sick. Now, emetic, when it comes to emetic, the word by itself is more figurative to describe anything that makes you feel sick. So, and when you think about emetic would be like motion sickness. You know, like if a person is on an airplane and a big drop, you know, that feeling in your stomach, or if you're on a boat, motion sickness. So when you hear emetic, they're most likely talking about something that has caused your it's like, ooh, it can cause nausea also. So like if a person, I have this up here is kind of like, I don't know, but I have to go for my head on this one. It's like having a tuna salad or a tuna sandwich, and you open it up and you're right next to the person with it. And that the aroma of that, the fish that's been in a can that's now in the guy's mouth, sometimes it doesn't come off all that pretty. Okay, So here I'm just going to shoot through this, and we're almost there. Wow, 9. I'm going to go through it really fast. The drugs that's derived from plants. As you see, there are so many of these drugs that are connected to plants and parts of plants. You see all this? Anything that you can recognize so far? All of these things are available to you when you see a pharmacy. They have all of those. And like I said, I abbreviated that list because there's so much. Our pharmaceutical drugs made from plants, a full 40% of drugs behind the pharmacist counters in the Western world, which is us in the United States, are derived from plants that people have used for centuries, including the top 20 best-selling prescription drugs in the United States today. So all of those. Now, another question would be asked is, which plant is used in pharmaceutical industry? Well, the answer to that is medicines of different classes include atropine. The atropine, you probably heard that, like, and what does atropine sound like? It's just like when your muscles aren't being used and they atrophy. You've probably heard that. You'll see how these names will coincide with some of their benefits too. And then we got scopolamine, and you have the hyoscyamine. Hyoscyamine is all of this is from the nightshade family, and the nightshade family are those herbs that people used to use to poison people big time. This was a big time thing, anyway, we digress. The traditional medicine berberine. Now, berberine, you probably heard of this before, but berberine has come from plants such as the berberis, and then you have the mahonia. We have caffeine, and caffeine is also called coffea. Cocaine, and cocaine, coca. And you probably had ephedra, which is ephedrine, morphine, which is the opium poppy, nicotine, which is tobacco, and you have reciprine, and reciprine is all of these are from the plants that are used in the pharmaceutical genre of medicine. Now, many of the vegetables have been used for medicinal purposes throughout history, and some may have therapeutic potential in modern medicine. There are some vegetables that are also used as pharmaceuticals. And we don't have enough time for that because we're already over time. But as we can always come back to that beetroot, we have ginger. Oh, I love ginger also. Yeah, I know, Kara, when you were saying that. And Kara, come on up as we get ready to go, because that'll be incentive for me to stop. So ginger is just very, very great. One of the best painkillers. Is a great antispasmodic. Is really wonderful with all type of intestinal problems, including digestion and indigestion. Really, really great. And let's do 2 more. All of this is on ginger because ginger is really great. Okay. There are other herbs for the meaning. I'll end with this, that the herbs are used for many reasons, and these are the reasons: to maintain your overall health, to boost your immunity, to support your mental clarity and focus, to calm your nerves, to improve digestion, to protect the body from toxins and support the detoxification process. And as I said to people before, when it comes to detoxing, your body already does that. But people spend hundreds of dollars buying a detox kit or some kind of decoction or concoction, and that's what they use to detoxify. And detoxification is just, well, we'll get to that later. The last one is to support the innate healing process. And we have the innate healing process. Detoxification is innate. But again, it makes people feel good when they can make up what they need to believe in order for it to work. That's it right there, everybody. I really appreciate you being here. That was a lot of stuff. Did we get any? It was quiet over here. Did we get any? Let's go over here to the comments right fast.
Everyone taking in the information. As far as the question about their favorite herbs, we did have Ms. Chabelle, she mentioned that oregano and basil is her favorite herbs and are her favorite herbs. And then Denise mentioned that her favorite herbs are parsley and rosemary. So appreciate that feedback. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. All right. So I want to say hello to you all again, and thank you very much for being here. And the people over on Instagram, thank you very much for being here. We got a lot done today. Thank you, Justin Vincent 29. You've been hanging tough. Thank you so much for being here. And go over to my I am Dr. Farid Zarif page, and please give that page some love with some likes and some following. We really want to build up, and that's just the language of what we're doing. So that's why we do it. You know, ain't no shame in my game. You know, got to do it. Got to do it. It's a beautiful day today. Have a great one. And Carrie, you want anything you want to use to close and say?
Well, just Denise Kenny saying great information and highly useful. So
thank you, Denise.
Yeah.
Denise, that's my sister. She is definitely man, just getting healthier and healthier. We work out. We talk about the healthier foods and the importance of environment and all that stuff. That's what I'm talking about. Miss Chabelle, also known as Michelle, and she would rather for us to use Michelle, but she does. She's a sweetheart. She don't trip too hard. But anyway, we call her Shell, and she is just an angel. Just that's all. When I think about her, just such a wonderful. As a matter of fact, we will be working out in Los Angeles starting on the 10th of August. The 10th of August, we're going to work out Los Angeles. So we are getting it is sponsored by the Mount Tabor Church. So if you'd like to come and work out, that's where you can come, right in the church, where it is a great surrounded with wonderful people and a safe environment. So we want people to, please come out and check us out. Tomorrow, I will be speaking in Inglewood. I don't have to say Inglewood, California, but it sounds so big. Inglewood, California. And
down the street.
Yeah. I used to say, I just got off my tour. I did Crenshaw all the way from Wilshire all the way down to Manchester. But we really want to thank you. We're really getting more and more people are helping us and helping us to help them. So it's a beautiful give and take situation. So I love it. So anyway, get out there, get into the sunshine, and thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next week at 8 a.m. Remember, you're listening to Dr. Farid Zarif on the Dr. Farid Zarif channel on YouTube. We're live streaming. Make sure that you subscribe. We want your subscription. And thank you so much for spreading the word. Thank you for Carolyn Gentle for making it happen. We'll be there tomorrow, and we're going to share with Chef Babette. We got Dr. Islam, Dr. Montgomery, and Dr. Bobby, along with yours truly, Dr. Fareed Zarif. We're going to have the table talks, and it's going to be marvelous. So come out and enjoy us. Until next week, we'll see you then.